This is I-76 coming up on Bromley Lane, which is going to be that 152nd Street that you hear about. Over here, let's see if I can do this while driving. This is kind of the intersection that if you head that direction, which is going to be west on Bromley Lane, that's what takes you right into Brighton. So, coming back up on our exit, oh, here's our view going this direction. Okay, so coming back up to our intersection, just coming off I-76, we're going to go right. Actually, let's see if I can do a full stop here and not confuse all these retarded people. So, heading that direction, there's like a Wendy's, and I think there's a Home Depot and different things like that over there. And like I said, the further you get into town, there's grocery stores and Walmart, and there's the small town, like original Main Street. There's Brighton Saddlery, if you guys ever want to get into the Buckaroo thing. Okay, so here is Bromley Lane / 152nd. So we'll be on this for roughly 10 minutes, probably, give or take. I left Mom's house at 8:35, and I think it's somewhere, I think it's like 8:53 right now. So I guess you're probably looking at about 35 minutes, give or take, from Mom's front door to where your front door is going to be at. And that, of course, is on a afternoon where there's absolutely no traffic. It was wide open. I probably could have drove a little faster. I was only doing 60. And I think the speed limit's 65, 70, but, you know, I'm not in a real big hurry because that's just how I am. Some of the scenery around here. Da-da-da-da. I turned my radio off because I know you guys don't like hick music and I'm not in the mood for rock. It'll be like this pretty much all the way to your house. There's no street lights, there's no four-way stops, no nothing. So once you get here, you get to just hit the pedal and go on this little 2-lane. And this is a main vein for a lot of Brighton, so it's going to be one of the first roads plowed. Anytime there's bad weather, it'll be plowed and sanded and salted, and like I said, it's a main vein, so it's going to be pretty well taken care of pretty early on. The clouds were starting to kind of burn off, so I don't know. We'll see what it looks like when we get out there. There might be a little bit of a view, but I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. The last time I drove up here, one of the neighbors, it was somewhere right through here, were chasing loose horses down. So, I don't know if they had fence problems or what. But you might have to keep your eye open, not for wildlife, but for domesticated livestock. Some of the bigger, fancier, richer homes in this area right through here. So they're not $1-million mansions, but they're not little Mexican shacks either. About 7 years ago, this was no man's land. It was real bland and blah, and I don't know. It didn't really strike our fancy. That was back when I was with Rick. We had kind of looked up here, but wasn't our deal. Actually, it was because it was too far away for Rick to drive to work. Here's another mansion. Not really a mansion, but the white man shack. Still don't know where these people get money like this. Californians. selling their house on a cliff. So I'm doing 50 right now as my speed limit. In case you don't believe me. Oh, I guess a little over 50. 55. So, since we have nothing better to talk about, I'll tell you my fun little story. I was at the Vegas airport. We had just done a shipping job, so... Well, first we started out drinking alcohol at the bar and gambling, and I ended up 20 bucks ahead. That was a good day. Anyhow, so Joel drops me off at the airport, and I'm sitting there stuffing my mouth full of a Big Mac, minding my own business, and all of a sudden this really good-looking guy in military whites kind of comes walking briskly down the aisle airport, and he starts yelling out, "Emily!" And I'm sitting there stuffing my mouth with this Big Mac thinking, who is this beautiful man, and how does he know my name? Anyhow, he comes walking right up to me and goes, "Emily!" And it turns out he's talking to the bitch right behind me. I was so heartbroken. I really thought it was my moment in time. I thought it was the man of my dreams coming to get me. But, oh well, I hope he's happy with her. So, yeah, that was my little letdown. It's probably a good thing, because I was sitting there stuffing my mouth full of Big Mac. It's not like I could have responded to anything anyhow. I think that's the school. Oh, I think I missed it, sorry. Here's a little subdivision thing. It looks like these are maybe 1 acre lots. Maybe 1.5 acre lots in there. And then there's this kind of little built up subdivision over here too. Sorry, I would do some zooming, but between driving and my bum shoulder and limited movement and semi-bad roads, I should probably just go with what we've got here. I hope it's not making you sick. Look at the size of some of these houses. Who wants to clean that shit? Although I guess if you're that rich, you can afford to pay somebody to clean that shit. And that's what it is. If it's your things, it's stuff. If it's somebody else's things, it's shit. So, there you go. There's your lesson of the day. Here, this house is kind of cool with the pillars. I wouldn't own it, but it's fun. Here's a little bit of the farmer's fields. I want to say this is probably a lot of like corn and wheat. There might be some hay fields out here. None of it will be ugly by any means. Not a lot of trees. You guys are gonna miss the trees. I, for one, don't care for trees. All I gotta do is rake up after them, and they leak sap, and they get in the way of riding. And so I, for one, don't really care for trees. If you got 1 or 2 in your front yard for shade, that's all you really need. Something for your dogs to mark their territory, and you're good to go. Here's some more of the neighboring subdivisions. So at least you're not surrounded by Mexican trash. There are a lot of Mexicans in Brighton, but that's kind of Colorado's story altogether anymore. There's a lot of Mexicans everywhere. Seems like the only way you can get around Mexicans is to go north where it's cold because they don't like the cold, but then you got to deal with the Indians, and I think they're just as bad, if not worse. And if you go northwest, then you have the Eskimos. And they don't have all the rights as the Indians yet, so they're actually even more rotten than the Indians because they have a grudge. This is all my opinion, of course. So, I have no idea how long we've been driving. I'm thinking it was probably somewhere around 10 minutes. I'm going to go with the 10 to 15 minute mark. So this is our 90-degree bend that we're taking into Bowden Road. So here's one of the farmers' fields. Just when I thought it couldn't get much hotter, I caught sight of the farmer's daughter. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Here's a cute little house. If I could get rid of the gypsy and my soul, I would own something like that. That's probably more like what I can afford to own. Having a hard time finding rich, good-looking, and cowboy. Obviously, God didn't mean for those three things to be combined. There's a mansion for you. Somebody else has to clean their shit up. Okay, so this is still on Bowden Road. So here's your Watkins sign. I was telling you could take the Watkins Road, which is basically what we're turning onto. If you were to keep taking this, it would take you way east, and it in about 20 miles connects with the same road, that I-70 corridor road that runs you straight down to Dad. So, if you're wondering, you could jump on that road, go straight east 20 miles, and then shoot straight south. It's probably like another 30 miles or so, and that's where you would find Dad. So it's a fairly straight shot, still a long drive. This is one of my competitors, Gary. He owns carriage horses too. He does the Longhorns, and if I'd been smart, I would have dated him way back instead of Ryan, but I thought he was a dick. Oh, wow. Here we go. Here's our corner. Haha, that was Emmy fishtailing around the corner. So, the very, very first piece of property we looked at, this is where we were at. So this was the one neighbor. And this was the guy across the street. This was the first piece of property that we looked at that has the for sale sign on it, which I thought was actually a pretty decent piece, all said and done. But it sounds like you got that corner lot, I guess, which is a little bit bigger. I don't know. I just like that one because it had just a little bit of a slope for you to put your house on that you would never actually have drainage issues. So here's some of our looking around scenery. So this is 142nd. We're getting ready to turn onto Gentry Road. Here's some of the houses next door. Let's see, it was left on Gentry and right on 139th or something, I think. Here's some houses that are built. It's 141st. We gotta keep going. You don't care about any of these houses yet. Sorry. There's another lot for sale. I don't think these must be the ones that are owned by the developer still, not the bank-owned ones, probably. There's still quite a bit of ground in through here. I imagine eventually it's probably going to build up and have quite a bit around it, but you guys are okay with that. I'm the one that has to live out in no man's land with my closest neighbor being 2 miles away. Let's see here. So here's one of our neighbors. I can't remember what it was. 3-3. Okay, I might have to stop the video thing for a minute. That's 307. Lot 47. I might have to stop the video for a second and look up the address, and then I can find where we're at, because I can't remember the address. So, I think we're roughly like 15 minutes into the drive. So you pretty much saw what's coming in. I'm going to stop it now, figure out where I'm at, and then I'll pick back up and show you your actual piece of property here. Okay.